All right, this one's pretty juicy. So I'm sure a lot of you have been getting super excited about ChapGPT and just kind of trying it out and see what it's doing. I was on a call today where we had some guys that were putting in computer code, and I'm not a coder by any means, but it was spitting out some pretty intense stuff, pretty eye-opening things. And we really tried to test it and to see how far we could go with it in terms of what it would spit out, what we could ask it, all these type of things. And the point that I think we landed on was, with this coming out, what does that mean for humanity, right? And if you've seen the Hormozy video, he does a great job of kind of laying a lot of this out. But it's like, what are the kids going to be able to do with it? And what are the consequences of them growing up with this? And so I think about myself versus maybe my father. And my dad, he knows how to change his own oil. He worked on a farm. He could change his own tires. And a lot of those things I just took for granted, and I never even really learned them. But those are pretty basic life skills to have. But I had the internet growing up. And then, I see kids that are even younger than me that grew up, mainly with Google. And it's pretty incredible to see their lack of creative ability and their lack of vocabulary in order to actually ask questions properly just to Google. Now imagine that times 100, and that's ChapGPT in terms of being able to ask the right questions and having the right foundation to be able to use it effectively. And so, people that don't have the skill sets in that area, and I mean in terms of the vocabulary to be able to properly ask it the right questions, are going to get left behind, or they're going to be stuck doing what the whole 2030 thing is with, they rent everything. There's no purpose behind what they're doing. They're basically just slaves in the system being used for their energy. So it's pretty interesting to consider the point and to really think about, what are the implications of kids growing up with this, and also how can they use it effectively. And then finally, the consequences. What are the consequences of this, right? And the last point I'll leave it on is, think about crypto. A lot of people got super hyped about crypto, and if you look at it now, basically what happens, you have the hype. The hype gets followed by a crash. Typically that's somebody does something wrong within the industry, right? So you have all these guys with, in the news now that are doing all kinds of stuff, right? And then followed by that, it's pushing regulation for their incentives. And so imagine that with this. Why are they allowing this to come out into the public, right? What is going to be the determinant, right? So somebody's going to fuck up, somebody's going to mess up, and it's going to cause regulation. Then the regulation will be put in place. By that time, everybody will just have accepted that, oh, this is just another thing that we have to live our lives with, along, just like Google, right? So it's very, I would pay attention to it and see if that comes to be true, but something to really consider, and especially if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, look at all those points and really investigate for yourself.